VIP room. I'm here with the legendary Alan, one of the speakers here at NFT.NYC. We are inside the PlayStation Theater in Times Square in New York. It is snowing outside, but the electricity in this place is on fire, I guess you'd say, and keeps me warm. So in that room over there behind you, Facebook and YouTube and other social channels, is a room filled with attendees, 85 speakers in a 12-hour period. And so I wanted to create an environment to spend time with people like you and just have more of an informal fireside chat. So thank you for joining me.
Awesome.
Can you tell me and everybody watching who you are and what you do?
So hi,
Hold it for you. It's a bit easier.
my name is Alan. I have been an early stage investor for quite a while. So I usually try to pay attention on what would be the next kind of technology trend and new products coming up.
Yeah.
And specifically for NFT wise, I think when you get to see there's a lot of potential there. And I think that while it may be a little overhyped some ways, I think there are many interesting products that are being made at the right now. So for example wise, you get to see a lot of existing fungible tokens are actually moving towards non-fungible tokens around a year ago. So one of the projects I was also helping, and but yeah, there's like for example, Decentraland eventually also issue NFT, and you got to see 0x are supporting NFT under version 2 last year at this time. You get to see a lot of interesting projects like Spank Chain. They were kind of experimenting with something called CryptoTitties. I don't know whether you're familiar, but that you get to see a lot of these people who understand what are the cool things about NFT, and you also I started to pay attention to a lot of really cool projects that see what, like, for example, like NFT became popular after CryptoKitties, but you got their projects that are trying to focus on improving what CryptoKitties didn't do beforehand. Yeah. So their projects are focusing, trying to create a better community experience and try to make the NFT itself to be more usable in games. So you get to see projects like Axie Infinity. That's actually one of the cool projects in the space. Yeah. We also back a company called Gods on Chain. It's actually, have you seen the game? Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the founders are probably one of the best in the space on how to create, who understand the potential of NFT and create a business model, distribution mechanism and products around that thing. And I think that there are more and more kind of players coming in now, but it's just interesting to see how people are taking this NFT to the next level. And a lot of examples I make earlier are games at the moment. I think that NFT as it's a lot of value. If it's tied to real asset wise, it's kind of just about the same, to be frank. So there's a lot of very cool, but I think that this year wise, we already saw a lot more crypto gaming company that are trying to taking advantage of this, and I can only imagine there being more of these cases coming up soon.
Yeah. Now, how'd you find out about this event? Why'd you come, and has it met expectations?
So I have been actually involved with the past few major NFT events, but like the OpenSea guys are really impressive. They're really good guys in the space, and was able to join in and have fun, I guess. And this is a really cool venue. I think this interview is kind of interesting too. Yeah.
I like it. I like that you're part of it.
Yeah.
So as far as this event goes, you've been a part of others. How would you like to see the NFT events evolve in the next season and year? Like when OpenSea and People Browser do another event together, let's just say NFT 2020, right? What would you love to see similar? Like, gosh, they nailed this. And what would you love to see maybe morphed or changed or added or maybe subtracted that you think would provide more value to the attendees and speakers?
I actually think that this event is already well done. I think that the industry is so growing. I think that, I don't know, it's a pretty well-run event. I think it's just how do we help support the industry moving forward, and then that will naturally help the event bigger and bigger. Yeah. So again, this is already a well-done event and interview. So.
Yeah. What kind of deal flow are you looking for? You're early stage investor, so which entrepreneurs or teams are you looking to like get to know and talk with? And
For NFT specifically, or for
it doesn't have to be. I mean, obviously, it'd be better for you to talk in the blockchain sphere, but NFT is closer. But whatever, I don't really care. I'm interested in what
Okay.
you're looking for.
So I think the best projects are the ones who understand, are building the product who wants to build a specific product, but also are building the infrastructure around it. Those are the most likely companies who will become successful long run. And for NFT specifically wise, I was really interested on people creating games on top of it. And I think that by focusing on that wise, you could tell who are actually thinking more about NFTs, how to utilize them well. I think the industry has also changed a little bit too. So we start to see I think the NFT as a concept is also kind of blending with fungible token as well. So I think that, the other interesting thing is that I think a lot of more and more, people sometimes say blockchain is kind of like multiple kind of industry combining together. I think for NFT wise, this is also very true as well. So
It's good. December 31st, 2019, 10 months from now, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want the companies you've invested in to accomplish? Like your world, what thing or things you're like, I really want to see these things happen this year. This would be success for us.
What do I want to see? What do I imagine will be successful 2019?
Just this year. Yeah, like
this year.
What's your hope for this year in terms of what would be success for you, your company, your investments, I'm trying to get an idea of like what's the focus for this calendar year.
This calendar year, I guess, is breaking through. Breaking through. I guess a lot of projects are breaking through right now.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see how, by the end of the year, how much that breakthrough would affect the space in general. And I am sure that everyone learns from each other. So maybe that will have a viral effect coming up soon, and will be interesting to see. To be frank. Yeah.
Now, is there a question you wish I would have asked that you wanted to answer?
I guess, what are some weird things that you think NFT could also do?
I like that. So answer that question for me.
I do think that right now, wise, most of the, I think this space is so new. It's very unclear on how the space will develop forward, and I think everyone's kind of watching but don't know how. But I think eventually, wise, once there's more and more these NFT successful projects coming out that could be as good as or rival CryptoKitties, that kind of level, I think that we will start to see new forms of communities, new forms of fun, and that excites me. I think that new kinds of project behavior, and I'm already seeing that happening. So hopefully we'll see that sooner, I guess.
I'm talking tonight about NFT 2024, 5-year predictions or aspirations or hopes. And so I'm the final keynote. It's one reason why I built this room.
Nice.
Was to ask you and your peers, like, hey, what do you think? It's a reason why I interviewed a bunch of people and made 104 videos from all those interviews before the event. Cool. Was to find out what does a collective thought on what we're driving towards. So my question to you, and I hope you inspire me so I can kind of bring a little bit of that tonight, is NFT 2024, even blockchain 2024, what is it that you're hopeful for or want to see built or anticipate will happen in the next 5 years?
I think that if you ask people about a year ago about NFT, it's actually it's not really there yet. I think that this thing is going to be more and more viral, and I think that even though there was over expectation, I think 5 years from now, I think you will start to see like this organism become a lot more, I call it organism, a lot more, like it would probably evolve a couple times already. So I don't know, we'll see. I could imagine good things and bad things, but yeah, it will be certain interesting to see when that happens. What should we do with it?
Yeah. Well, the last thing I'll ask you is, we'll go back 1,000 years.
Okay. Okay.
to go forward. And it's going to be more of a personal question about legacy. So 1,000 years ago, innovator, a king, an artist has vision and creates something. Let's just go with the king, right? The emperor, whatever that ruler, that leader is in that region. And they have a vision for a castle. They say, I've decided we're going to build a castle, we're going to build a temple, we're going to build something of great significance that will take centuries to build. That leader is making a decision to not only invest his life, his people, his time, his resources, face adversity, and overcome hardship, but it's for generations and generations from now that will ever enjoy it, right? 300 years to build the castle, as an example. For you in your career, what type of legacy are you trying to build? What are you willing to invest your life, energy, and time into, even though it may never come to fruition until 2300? Like, what's the big thing or things that you're going after, but you're like, I mean, I know that's like a far off distance, but it's still worth my career and my energy, my investment to try and get there eventually?
This is a really interesting question about, I guess, that goal. But I'm gonna randomly talk about. If you look at one of the people who can actually preserve history the longest is Egyptians. Egyptians built pyramids that actually still last a very long time. I think at the time wise they were obsessed with being eternal, the concept of eternal. And I think that a lot of things we build, if you strive for that vision, I think that that actually could be more of that. And I think a lot of people in the space wise sometimes they look at things from a too like short-term perspective. But at the same time wise, you also have to keep that execution. So what do I see a lot of good people in the space that have that kind of like execution and vision, and I hope that more of these people are not being ignored by other kinds of people in the short who are, yeah, so yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you for joining me for this brief chat.